now, the theme of our session is CSR 2.0, the blueprint for social impact. Ladies and gentlemen, to participate in this session, we are very much proud to welcome our panelist, Dr. Pravakar Sahoo, Senior Lead NITI Aayog, working at the forefront of policy and development initiatives shaping impactful change. So I would request Dr. Pravakar Sahoo. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been graced with the presence of Engineer Akshay Saxena, Chief Engineer, East Coast Railway, a senior IRSE officer of the batch 1992 with extensive experience in railway infrastructure and key construction projects across divisions. Along with him, we have Dr. Professor Niraj Kumar, the Dean of School of Rural Management, XIM University, an academician with deep expertise in rural management, guiding thought leadership and innovation in the field. Welcome to you, sir. Can we have a huge round of applause for our panelists, our speakers on the stage? Can we have it for Dr. Prashant Hota, the president of Jindal Steel Limited, leading an impactful CSR initiatives across education, healthcare, and community development, creating meaningful change at the grassroots level. Welcome to you, sir. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Dheeraj Koochar, the managing director of Vdeal System Limited, a leading company specializing in industrial automation, electrical systems, and smart technology solutions with over 2 decades of experience in engineering and system integration. Welcome to you, sir, to this evening. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to moderate this session, may we have a round of applause for Mr. Charan Singh, consulting editor of Interview Times, bringing rich experience in media and storytelling and known for moderating thought-provoking and insightful dialogues. Welcome to you, sir. So now, ladies and gentlemen, the session 2 begins, CSR 2.0, the blueprint for social impact.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a privilege to be here amongst all of you with such distinguished and extraordinary panelists. Carrying forward to the previous discussion, what we had, I'd like to cite that long back, close to 3005 years back, in Manusmriti, Manu talked about Dan. So, what I'd like to say through this is, it is inherent and intrinsic in our Indian psyche to contribute to the society on an individual level or on an organizational level. As far as CSR is concerned, it came recently. It's a maybe a recent construct after the mandate actually. So for years actually, CSR was seen as an act of giving, but now things have changed drastically. It has become strategy. It has become intent to measure the impact properly. It has become the impact assessment, whether it's reflecting on the ground or not. We have moved on actually after the mandate was announced. So that's why the topic probably is apt at this point of time, and the topic is CSR 2.0, the blueprint for social impact. Let's explore further how it has panned out so far and what can we look forward to in future as well as far as CSR is concerned. So let me open the discussion. May I request my respected panelists to be as crisp, pertinent, and specific as possible because of the constraint of time we have. Professor Niraj Kumar, sir, if you could please throw a light on what CSR 1.0 was and how has it evolutionized till CSR 2.0? That is my first question. And second question also, a bit maybe a bit uncomfortable question, like why does that the gap still exists between CSR research and ground level implementation? Yep.
So, good evening, everyone. This is a wonderful opportunity to be amongst such a distinguished people who are directly involved in the CSR. Coming back to your first question, that no, the CSR 1.0 and the CSR 2.0, uh, the difference is very clear. When the act came, and even before that, CSR was considered. This was considered as a charity. This was considered something which voluntary corporate will give. But I will call CSR 1.0 when this was introduced. It was sort of thing that no, probably people were thinking that it is being imposed on us. It is not our responsibility. Whatever we have been doing wonderful job. And we have the panelists, they were actually doing wonderful job. But what has happened is this no CSR 2.0 that every industry today, at least they have accepted that we have to comply with it. Two reasons. One is that compliance, and the second, they have started thinking that it does give them some benefit. Maybe I may appear in the interview times event, and then I say that I'm going to do it. So first is that no, completely ignorance, not accepting. This was 1.0. Now accepting it and finding that this is going to be the reality is 2.0. Now, the second question you asked us that why there is a huge gap between research and the ground implementation. There are, this is where the right players will come. And you have to really understand that no, the CSR activity initially was to be implemented and is still being implemented by industry. Now, what has happened is this, and the second point, who is going to monitor? It's mostly by the industry and some of the other regulatory authorities which they do it. Academics does not come into. Just now we talked about the mineral fund and all other things are concerned. This is being managed by government, regulated by government, and being seen by government. Industry doesn't, and academics does not come anywhere. And second thing is this, I do feel that academics brings some of the reality, which at this point of time, both parties may be a bit hesitant in bringing the truth. That's what would be. Because academics will tell what the things are in the field. And sometimes it feels that no, they may not be the agreement over their age. But the best thing which I feel is this, of late, even the participation of mine and inviting you academician over here, I find this that the realization has gone that if the research is being conducted, it will help CSR, it will help industry, it will help government, and at the end, it will help community. So academics must come inside this. Thank you.
My next question to Dr. Hota, sir. Sir, you are from the industry actually, and being the integral part of an industry that has done really, really well over the years, I'd like to ask you, does the gap play out in the industrial ecosystem as well? I mean, are you taking inputs from the people who are into academics and research as well? And how it is, if so? The gap that we're talking about, that there's a gap between research and the ground level execution. There's a massive, massive gap actually. I'd like to ask you, does the gap still play out in the industrial ecosystem?
Of course. See, research is something, a very different kind of domain you are talking about. Okay. Let me be very candid about it. Addressing, since Sir Dilip sir is here. Sir, 7 years or 10 years, 8 years down the line, secretary in particular on this platform has a fantastic sentence. I liked it. I did not like it. That's different. The only thing the corporate should do, they should be environmentally responsible and they should pay their taxes regularly. They don't have to do anything else. We can do our social responsibility. That was one way of looking at things. Okay. I I did not agree with him. That's different. That's different. But point is, see, if there is a business, let us be understand. I am not talking from Jindal Steel point of view. Please take it. I am taking away myself from the industry. I am telling what is the purpose of making business. We all, many are businessmen. Businessman. The basic purpose of business is making profit. Let us not be very hypocritical about this. Nobody is into business not to make profit, okay? To lose and to do public welfare. It's not that. The point is, from philanthropy, the CSR zero or whatever you are telling, now it is talking of strategy. But what has happened actually, it is not about research. Research says so many things. What has happened actually, the positive part is 90% of those companies are complying. Okay, complying means, what are the compliances? Independent board of directors, the disclosure system, the 2% profit, the unspent CSR, how to manage this. There are a lot many, because I don't want to reinvent the wheel here, everybody knows it. Okay, but the whole thing is that compliance and reporting is not transformation. Transformation is something a very different ballgame. Okay, so that is very long-term engagement. That is creating institution. That is changing the entire thinking. Compliance has to be transformed into a thinking that how to create a win-win situation. Okay, so researchers are helping us. Academia is our partner. We are trying to discover new horizons, but we have to manage our business with the low.
So I'd like to build on that, sir. I'd like to build on that. Let's say the mandate did not exist in your respective industries or organizations. Still, they would have implemented something for social impact without mandate. Let's say CSR mandate didn't exist.
You mean somebody did not make profit?
Yeah.
There is no mandate. You mean that?
Yeah,
I think you mean that. Okay. Let me give you a live example. Everybody knows from 2013 to 2016, Jindal Steel and Power was making loss because of the cancellation of coal blocks. I am not highlighting one industry. I am talking of a particular example only. Okay. And our CSR spend was more than 100 crores. If you ask me, is it because you love the people so much that you are doing it? No, sir. We are in metal and mining business. We have to be with the people. In any kind of metal and mining business, there will be a conflict embedded into your operation. Conflict over the natural resources over your command. Okay? Because, see, what is happening is that in a IT firm, you can invest 500 crores making 2, 3, 4 buildings. To invest 500 crores in a metal and in a metal company, you need 50 acres of land or 100 acres of land. When there is a land issue involved, there is a common property resources, there is a grazing land, there is a pasture land, there is a playground, there is a, common property. There the landed and landless do not go together. In my village, the landless are equally empowered than the landed because we are dependent more on them. Isn't it? So these are the issues for which you have to spend. Another thing, I'll just conclude with this. Do you think when Birla, Ghanshyam Das Birla, joined Mahatma Gandhi in the freedom movement, what kind of mandate was there?
There was no mandate. Yeah.
When Tata was helping, Tata was building the society, social impact, what kind of mandate was there? When O.P. Jindal was making university education, female education, skilling institute in Haryana, in Chhattisgarh and everything, what kind of mandate was there? When Jindal Asa for the rehabilitation of the special children was created in 2009 or O.P. Jindal Community College in 2006, what kind of mandate was there? So it is not about mandate, it is our DNA. It is our responsibility, and underline, there is a compulsion. Let me tell you that at the end of the day, any business is a social wealth created out of the society. We have to give it back. If you don't give it back, one day society will throw you out.
Yep. I agree with you for the simple fact that, there are many organizations without mandate also they come forward and contribute to the growth of the society as well. Having said that, there are still many other organizations, for them business means it revolves around profit. We cannot deny that. right? Now, moving on to, the industry to policy making. Dr. Sahu, I'd like to turn to you. All right. If you can throw a light on the vision Viksit Bharat by 2047, we have espoused this particular cause. And where does CSR fit in actually in this? If you could please throw a light. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite questions, let me tell you. You see, when you know the manjil, you know how to do it, right? That is how we created the vision document. I'm happy to say that I was the person who laid all these vision numbers from NITI Aayog. In fact, it's not only I was the convener for the Viksit Bharat, I'm the convener for almost 17 states because it's the union of the states and they need to grow, they need to have the vision that is aligned to national vision so that we reach all these ambitious goals of reaching 30 trillion economy, 18,000 per capita economy by 2047. Now, if you allow me, I'll just take 2-3 additional minutes because just giving a context, everybody needs to know this Viksit Bharat, that what you call the dream of Honorable Prime Minister and all that we are working. Why is it so? I'll tell you, this opportunity for India is the lifetime opportunity. It comes only once for a big country like India. Once you lose it forever. For example, the favorable demographics we have today, it's close to, you have like 66-67% working age population, which is close to 900 millions. What you have, no other country in the world or a continent or no other continent has it. And this will taper down or it will slow down, starting from 2040. And after that, it never comes back. Once the demographic, it goes, the favorable composition, it never comes back. It has never come back. For example, for China's population, which is close to 1.46, just little less than India's population, it would be going down close to 800 millions by 2050. You understand? So this is the opportunity. Now, how do we really make a plan to ensure that we go from $3,000 per capita economy to 18,000 per capita economy? That is where we'll reach the higher income category. It's not the advanced economy as people always speak about it. It's no. Given the definition of the World Bank today, for higher economy, the way they are changing the ceilings, it would be reaching $17,000 by 2047, and we would be reaching $18,000. I can confidently say so because I'm the person who made these numbers by using macro modeling. Okay, my CEO always tells that people will come and go, but everybody will remember that Pravakar is a 30 trillion man. Okay, I'm a very poor man. Let me tell you one thing. Here, if we go from today close to 4 trillion to 30 trillion, we need a CAGR of 9.1 percentage growth for next 22 years. Last 10 years, we have reached or we have achieved something little over 6% nominal growth rate in US dollar. Now, coming back, it's 9.1. If you take America's inflation, please don't mind. I'm a student of economics. I always get into economics. So if you find me boring, you stop me. But let me tell you, it's 9.1. If you take like 1.5 to 2% inflation, then you have to grow something around 7% in US dollar terms. What we have achieved is little over 6%. What we need to do is we need to kind of go above that 6% and one more percentage. But this one more percentage is very difficult. I'll tell you why. Because it is consistently for 22 years when you become like, the base becomes larger and larger, it is very difficult to grow at 7%. You will reach the new normal like China has reached today at $14,000 per capita economy, having something like 4 to 5%. Now, but that is feasible. Here comes the importance of the CSR. What we need? We need education, we need health, we need skilling, because the biggest endowment or the biggest power we have is the manpower. Unless until we make them productive. And India could be the source of labor supply to the rest of the world. But how do we achieve that? It's health, education, skilling. Our policymakers, they're trying their level best. Being part of the policy making, I'll tell you, everything people criticize about the policymakers, they know it. The political leaders, they know it. Tell me who doesn't know it. They just try to, there are limited resources to do. That is where the role of CSR and the CSR fund, it's basically, look, the kind of, in the Viksit Bharat, what do? We have macro numbers, we have demographic numbers, we have what you call educational, what you call human capital numbers. For example, infant mortality rate, life expectancy, healthy life expectancy. For example, in the Viksit Bharat, we are planning to achieve from 60 years to 70 years by 2047. On an average, if you go by the base case scenario, you would be reaching 64. But the 70 is the rate which you need to reach and be compared at the higher income. But how do you reach there? You see, there are different sectoral level targets and we need to achieve, and that is not possible only by government. That is what we need to do is a combination of market, state and civil society, and CSR actually plays a very important role.
So, sir, here I'd like to interject as well. Like, if you see from the economist lens, are we spending the capital efficiently as far as CSR is concerned? Or are we concerned more about visibility, PR, and all of that actually, which may not reflect on the ground?
Anyway, I'm not here to criticize. Let me tell you, over a period of time, the CSR funds are available. It has been growing and growing. In fact, last 10 years, we have got 1.3 lakh crore, and on an average, we get around 35,000 crore. That, yeah, it's quite a huge. I think there are commitments from the organizations. It's not only for the compliance purpose they do it. In fact, I think there is a very valid point. There was CSR before even the CSR 1.0 or 2.0. In fact, it's always, it happens everywhere. If there is a grocery store in a lane, they also contribute sometimes to the Ganesh Puja, Saraswati Puja, because they want people to be happy. That is how actually they have. So I think it is not about the complaints, but what I feel, which way we can improve the efficiency, that's very important. Look, the way we have designed, and here I'm criticizing myself, the way we have designed, people go for projects which are very easy to report. For example, like health and education, we are spending close to 60% of the education. Where do we spend that money? Buildings, physical infrastructure, so that it is easy for me to report. But what matters for the long term, returns? For example, learning outcomes. What are the students getting out of that education? Training teachers, because they will make the students the quality input. Institutional, the governance reforms, which are not very visible and they are very difficult to measure the outcomes while reporting for the compliance purpose. So that is where actually, I think in the last session also, there are points about adaptability, sustainability. We need to focus much more in the longer term. For example, the vocational training. As I told you, the biggest thing we have is the manpower, and we need to make them productive. Vocational training is very, very important. There are remote places or villages or the marginalized sections, you would always find that there are generations of the people or families, those who are poor. Forefathers are poor, then the generations they are poor. That intergenerational poverty you need to break. How do you break? If poor son becomes a poor, then like how do you break this? One generation, the one person in that family who gets the vocational training and gets out and makes an income, that makes the difference. I think there are areas we need to focus. For example, what you call, generally actually, if you look at the sustainability issues, it's getting very, very severe. In fact, one of the things we are firefighting at NITI Aayog is just ensuring that we kind of adapt ourselves with the demands from the developed countries for proactive climate actions. the mitigation, the adaptations, the compliance cost to our products are increasing much more faster. That is where, in fact, the farmers, somebody was talking about the exports, but then getting the exports to the markets is getting very, very difficult because the environmental compliance. It is not only the CBAM, all the FTAs, the compliance cost is increasing. The agricultural products, the farms, the shrimp exporters, all those who are doing, they would find it very difficult in the markets unless until they comply with the environmental norms.
On that note, sir,
It is about him, whatever he has told. I'm not contradicting him. I'm only telling, no, the reporting CSR has become celebration of outputs.
yeah.
5,000 trained, 10,000 farmers in vocational, this thing. These are all, very low hanging fruits we are reporting. But again, coming back to that, this reporting, at least it is happening. That's a good thing. At least it is happening. But it is not transformative. That is the whole thing. Second thing is that how do you really, becoming transformative? For example, suppose you are driving. Just one example I am giving and I will this thing. Suppose you are driving. You have a driving license. You have a pollution certificate. Everything is fine. You are in the left side of the road and you are keeping the lane. You are telling that I am responsible to the traffic rule. Are you? Point is, are you switching off your vehicle when there is a red light? You are not. And there is no law to control that also. Isn't it? So 2% spending is compliant. Are you really slowing down when a pregnant woman or a senior person is crossing the road? These are not written somewhere. This is all. That's why I'm telling a level of conscience thinking, compliance thinking has to change.
Okay.
More than
So what you are saying is output means numbers, and numbers may not necessarily reflect on the ground. Okay. It's good to celebrate numbers, outputs, but we need to focus more on the real impact on the ground. Now, on that note, I'd like to turn to Mr. Koochar.
Right.
So, how do you see that CSR policy can be integrated in that system, not as an add-on or separate investment, but is the integral part of your system? If you can throw a light on that, sir.
For me, I am not under the boundary of CSR, but still it is a different way I do it, out of my own liking, for the environment, for the people who are around me. Now, what I understand from the CSR is it has been more like sir said, it is about numbers and people celebrate numbers. But what I think is it has to be the result. What result we are expecting from that CSR? The planning has to be based on that. And are we really getting those results? So we have to do what we call it reaction action. What reaction we want to get from the society by doing CSR, we take action accordingly. It's not vice versa. Now what is happening is we are taking actions and expecting the reaction to come. But it doesn't happen like this. And when you tell me about integrating this CSR thing into my company, I made it a point that all the people who are working with us, they have a very high standard of life. We recruit around 33% of interns, skill them on our products. We let them know, and I will be happy to tell you that most of our people who got trained from our company, some are there with us, some are in JSL, some are in Tata, some are in TP Studio. I'm very happy for them. So, and giving back to environment, I would say, we are trying to conserve energy. Being an energy company, equipment manufacturing company, integrating AI and IoT into those. So it has been my passion how to save energy. One thing I would like to emphasize is integrating the CSR with environment and climate change. That is going to have a big social impact on the people. Like when we are talking about renewables, where EV charging facilities are required for EV infrastructure to grow. Why can't the CSR be a part of creating that EV charging facilities? And people like us will be there to implement. We don't have that much of fund, but we know the technology. We have the know-how, and we have the passion to do something. And there is where the large corporates come in and they put their CSR fund to do that.
Okay. My next question to you, sir, is how are technologies like IoT, AI, and for that matter, data helping CSR making more scalable and measurable as well? And of course, because the utility of technology is to get things done as fast as we can actually. So, do we see any reflection over there?
You see, we have lot of data points. The amount of data what India has is humongous, and government is rightly going ahead with their new AI platform to integrate all the data. That's I remember it's called Sarvam,
Okay.
and they have a product called Chanakya that is coming. So I am also very fond of NITI Aayog. Very of my close friends are there in NITI Aayog, so I get to know all those things. Now, when I talking about this impact of AI, definitely it is going to happen. When all those things come into a single point where data is secured within Indian boundaries, that what happens is when you do any kind of analysis, it is based on the parameters of Indian conditions and Indian data points.
Okay. Now let me turn to Mr. Engineer Saxena. Sir, yes, I'm delighted to have you as well. I had a very beautiful interaction with you in your office actually. You talked about a lot of things. So, as far as Indian Railway is concerned, it's the backbone of Indian transport system actually. Rather, it's the social lifeline, I'd like to say. So, to conduct a new railway project, which is massive, you have to strike balance between a lot of things: environment, community mobilization. At the same time, you have to look for speed as well. How do you strike this balance, sir? Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. So, striking the balance, what I can understand, between the speed as well as the social obligations. Both the things are not mutually exclusive.
Okay.
Number one, that we have to appreciate, because if you view the complex railway project only as a pure engineering project, then of course one can view that the social obligations are exclusive to the engineering project. But now the things have changed. We have realized that very complex projects get stalled because of non-engineering social issues. Most of the projects, if you see, they are taking 30 years, but still they are stalled. Why? Because we have the engineering, but we have not went into the social impacts of the projects. So now the government policies have also changed, and we are going deep into the social impact assessments of the project. We see that whatever project development we are planning, that includes the community. So there is a net positivity in the place where we are taking our new railway line. It should not be, the perception has to be changed. It should not be managing the resistance, because wherever you want to take a line, it is going to cut the land into parts. So you are going to cause a disturbance in the line. As far as the land is concerned, for you and for me, it is a piece of land. But you imagine a tribal, you imagine a person who is dependent upon the land.
Okay.
It is a way of life for him. So, once you take into account the way of life, the disturbance that this project is going to bring into his life, then you realize that he needs to be compensated more than what you normally think as an engineer. So, now this realization has entered in the system, and we are taking care of the
Okay.
social impacts also.
Now, my last question to all the panelists: how does CSR 3.0 look like going forward? Yeah.
This will be a very short answer to do this. Rightly said that we are in the compliance stage. CSR 3.0, it is going to be the part of the business strategy where they don't look CSR as an compliance. It will be integrated with the business and it will serve the profit purpose, which now Hota Sahib was referring to do this. This will become one of the ways of earning profit, making profit at the same time they will be able to contribute to the society. So the focus would be now more on the process rather than the putting number which he writes.
So, fixing process impurities.
Right. The process will become the important rather than.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Saxena, sir. Yeah. What do you think? CSR 3.0.
Look, now it is getting implemented in the way that we are working, we are executing the projects. For example, particularly I would talk about the railway projects. Once you take up a big railway project, that involves a lot of earthwork. That is it's like millions of cubic meter of earthwork is utilized. So what we do is that we take care of the environment. We provide lot of underpasses, overpasses for the wildlife. In Khurda Bolangir project, one of the longest viaduct has been constructed. One of the longest elephant overpasses are being constructed here just to conserve the wildlife. And similarly, we can just mold the requirement because there are a number of places where the local people want some small pond. So instead of taking the earth from some other place, you develop that area. So you are serving both the purposes. You are developing the community, you are taking care of the environment, you are taking care of the small requirements of the people who are affected by the project. So this is how we are trying to integrate the corporate social responsibilities in our projects.
Thank you. Sir, from NITI Aayog's perspective and from an economist perspective also, if you could talk about CSR 3.0, how does it look like? Yeah.
See, going forward, this is going to happen. Look, the world has become more unequal. And tell you the simple economics why it has become very unequal. You see, 40 years back, it used to be the labor phenomena. Like if the growth is taking place, employment is created as a default. But today, the growth is taking place. The numbers are there, but it's not labor intensive or job intensive because it is all innovation led, very dynamic growth. That is where it is becoming more and more not only income inequality, not only income share inequality, wealth inequality. Everywhere there are inequality. That is where the CSR 3.3 is going to be the case where the corporates will become the partner with the government to deal with all the issues that would be coming out as default of this capitalism. And it's not bad. The wealth creators, we just awarded them. But in the process, it's a government and also the corporates. It has to be public-private partnership to go for the CSR, which is output-driven, outcome-driven matrix, where the social return, the rate of return is measured. It's like governance reforms, the institutional reforms. As I told you, it's not about building a school. It's ensuring the quality education given in that school. The teachers are trained there. The farmers, they are trained how to move away from traditional cultivation to what you call environmentally sustainable cultivations. Like that. It is bit long term and it doesn't have to be like one time CSR funding. It has to be, what you call ongoing CSR funding so that the institutional development takes place to give you the outcomes in the medium and long term. So the social return and long term has to be taken into account rather than the compliance cost of 2%.
Thank
That
you.
is going to be 3 points.
Dr. Hota, I have slightly different question for you. Like, what is exactly the ideal CSR implementation model? What are the boxes are we supposed to tick?
Same question you are putting in a different way. So CSR 3.0 that should be the ideal. I am really, Number one, sir, because I don't know he's sitting beside me or not. We are transforming the chemistry. It is not only output, please, all CSR professionals who are here. It is not only output to outcome to impact to transformation. That is CSR 3.0. You have to see now, I don't have time much left, so that's why I'm telling. So impact, true transformation. Transformation you can understand. The quality of life has to be really transformed. Number one. Number two, CSR department you must be heading. I find it not required in CSR 3.0. CSR has to be embedded into your DNA. Right from supply chain, right from innovation, the climate resilience, and now we are talking of zero is the hero, net zero.
Yeah.
2070, we have to become net zero. We have to think of 2050. We have to think of 2030. Okay, that is number two. Number three, from charity to institution, because institution is sustainable. Charity is not sustainable. Okay, you have to give the net. You have to teach them how to fish instead of giving the fish. Institutions. And another thing, which is very relevant for Odisha, since collector sir is there and he has another background. He was OSD2 Chief Secretary when we are talking of the wish list. Sir, you remember, we are talking of the Go Care module there. So the point is, from now the CSR funding is about 1.8 lakh crore in India, out of which Odisha has contributed 8,000 crore. Tell me honestly, on good, see, please don't equate me with the institutions. I'm talking from a different level. Okay. Now you think of Ongul, Sundargarh, Sambalpur, Jajpur, they're having both DMF and CSR. More or less it is going together, or we have to really find out how to go together, how to complement. What about the district like Bhadrak? How much CSR they are getting? What about Puri? Puri, the spiritual capital of Odisha. How much CSR it is getting? How much Nabarangpur is getting? How much Malkangiri is getting? So point is that CSR प्रकल्प सरकारंकर विकल्प नुहे प्रकल्प सरकारंकर सहभागी. We have to partner with the government. So we have to see that CSR fund is creating replicable models. That boss, I am going to say to the collector, speak to the collector, boss, you have spent in watershed model 36,000 rupees per acre and the income level has doubled. I am going to spend same 36,000 crore. कोई सोने का लंका मैं नहीं create कर रहा हूँ. But I am going to say the farmer's income has become 5 times, which I have proved in Ongul, which I have proved in Chhattisgarh. Another thing, sir, I am telling you, the responsible industrialization. That is called real CSR. It is not only climate. Sir, who has told Mr. Naveen Jindal to stand in Ongul plant for 45 days to convert industrialized oxygen to medical oxygen and send it across the country through Oxygen Express? Who has told it? Which mandate it was? Okay, this is an intention that I am telling. So the intention must be very clear that I am not going to transform the entire country. It is not my work. But what I am going to do is that transforming the thinking, transforming the next generation, because I must believe in the CSR that I have not inherited this planet from my forefathers. Wow. I have borrowed it from my children. I have to give it back. If I am giving it back through my CSR or whatever I am model, I am creating a safer India, safer Odisha, greener Odisha, and a sustainable Odisha. And my next generation will be proud of it. Instead of making a, somebody was telling me, sir, $500 billion Odisha economy. I told it can be done through digging. But do you want to build your present by breaking your future? So that is the real CSR which I am talking, which is beyond 2%. It is responsible industrialization and have a win-win situation and reaching the last man in the queue, a equitable society, an inclusive society, not just GDP growth.
So the major takeaways is to the last mile delivery and of course sustainability. Now coming back to Mr. Koochar, I'd like to talk about, we have made huge advancement in terms of technology. Probably last 20 years, the kind of advancement that we made is way, way more than what we made for 1,000 years actually. So rapidly, at the advent of technology changing and advancing, how do you see basically philanthropy as an act?
Now, when I am talking about this data points what India is creating, how do you decide what to do until you have data points? How you are going to analyze those data? It can take number of years for number of team members to do that, and that might not be correct also. So here where then artificial intelligence comes in. So you can do a lot of things in a very short of a time. I will tell you an example. Like 2 years back, when I was doing planning for my company for a year, whether it be financial or functional, operational, so it was taking me 10 to 12 days. Now with the help of AI and the previous data points what I have in my company, I am able to do it in 3 hours. So how did I take that decision? So that decision making is going to be enabled, and the CSR 3.0 what you just asked, I think it will be a tech enabled so that it can be measured properly and accountability can be done. So that is what I think it's going to be like that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. The major takeaways, the mind shift that we can achieve through this particular discussion actually. And Thank you, my fellow panelists. I'm extremely delighted. It was such an enriching discussion that everybody would take away something or the other. Thank you so much.
Honorable MP sir to please join us on stage along with our collector sir to be on the stage to felicitate our speakers and the moderator of the second session. I would request everyone to please put your hands together for Dr. Ravindra Narayan Behra sir and of course Mr. Dilip Rautray sir to felicitate our speakers for the session CSR 2.0, the blueprint for social impact. Dr. Pravakar Sahoo, Senior Lead, NITI Aayog. It was a very, very insightful, educative session. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have Dr. Pravakar Sahoo, Senior Lead, NITI Aayog, with us. I would request our esteemed guest to please felicitate Dr. Pravakar Sahoo. Now, I would request our esteemed guest to please felicitate Engineer Akshay Saxena, Chief Engineer, East Coast Railways. Now, we would request to felicitate Dr. Professor Niraj Kumar, Dean, School of Rural Management, XIM University. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly put your hands together for Dr. Prashant Hota, President, JSPL. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Dheeraj Koochar, Managing Director, Vdeal System Limited. Thank you so very much. Now we would request you to please put your hands together for Professor Ashish Ghosh, who was the keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Professor Ashish Ghosh, Director, IIIT Bhubaneswar. Thank you so very much, all the panelists and our moderator, Charan Singh ji. Thank you so very much. Now it's time that we felicitate our moderator, Mr. Charan Singh ji. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are very much thankful for your patience, of course, because you have been with us from the beginning of this evening till here, and I can see the hall totally filled with all of you, all smiling faces. I think everybody is smiling right now because now we are moving towards the award ceremony, which we were looking for, and I request all the esteemed guests to be on the stage. I would request Dr. Mrutyunjay Mahapatra ji to please be on the stage along with Dr. Ravindra Narayan Behra sir. I would request Mr. Hiranmay Mahanta, CEO, iHub Gujarat, Dr. Ramanuj Narayan, Director, CSIR IMMT. Along with him, I would request Professor Ashish Ghosh, Mr. P.K. Mahapatra, Mr. Subhash Agrawal, Mr. Vinod Kumar Agrawal, Dr. Prabodh Mohanty, and of course, Mr. Dilip Rautrai to be on the stage. The leader who has redefined utility management through a lens of social accountability as the CEO of TPNODL, his strategic vision has ensured that business growth is always powered by community welfare. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Shri Gajanan S. Kale. A round of applause for Shri Gajanan S. Kale. Many congratulations to you, sir. Now, may I request Shri Vibhu Mishra for the Best Corporate Business Leadership Award in CSR. We honor a veteran whose leadership at Hindalco Industries has set benchmarks in the corporate world. With a career defined by integrity and a focus on sustainable growth, he has been a pillar of corporate social responsibility. Please put your hands together for Shri Vibhu Mishra. Many congratulations to you, sir. May we have a huge round of applause for Shri Prasanna Kumar Motupalli, Best Leader of the Year Award 2026 for Corporate CSR. Please welcome a visionary leader at the helm of NLC, whose transformative efforts has echoed across the nation's energy sector. He has championed CSR not just as a policy, but as a core organizational culture. Many congratulations. Now, we have Sri Kalika Charitat, but unfortunately is not present with us. Hands together for Sri Kartikeshwar Patra, CSR Excellence Award for Sustainable Mining. Ladies and gentlemen, we recognize a pioneer of green industry. As the head of global coal mining, he has spent 3 decades proving that industrial growth can coexist with environmental stewardship. For his visionary commitment to clean energy and sustainable innovation, we present CSR Excellence Award for Sustainable Mining to Sri Kartikeshwar Patra. Many congratulations to you, sir. Now we recognize Sri Rajesh Garodia for Green Tech CSR Award. Please put your hands together for our industrialist. Industrial innovation meets environmental stewardship in our next awardee. As the head of Scan Steels Limited, Sri Rajesh Garodia has pioneered the use of green technology in the steel sector, proving that heavy industry can indeed have a light footprint on the planet. Please put your hands together for Mr. Rajesh Garodia. Many congratulations to you, sir. And now I would request Dr. Saubhagya Mahapatra, MD, Atmosphere Core, for CSR Excellence Award in Hospitality Brand. Please put your hands together for Dr. Saubhagya Mahapatra. We move on to the next award, and that is for CSR Excellence Award for Skill Development, and that goes to Sri Rashmi Ranjan Mahapatra. Please put your hands together, who is bridging the gap between talent and opportunity. As the CEO of World Skill Corporation, he has been instrumental Now, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the award, CSR Brand of the Year, and that goes to Srimati Santoshini Bhatta. Please put your hands together as we celebrate a brand that has made purpose its primary identity. Under the leadership of Srimati Santoshini Bhatta, next Singh has set a new benchmark for how modern brands can drive meaningful social change. Ladies and gentlemen, for this beautiful lady on the stage, kindly put your hands together. Many congratulations to you, ma'am. And now I would request for the CSR Excellence Award for Legal Service, we have Advocate Soumya Jyoti Vishwal. Justice and social welfare go hand in hand with our next recipient. Through Pegasus Research Office Global, Advocate Soumya Jyoti Vishwal green forestry and impact, and that goes to Sri Rajesh Kumar Sahoo. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly welcome a visionary who is quite literally breathing life back into our landscape.
A very good evening to everybody present over here. It has truly been an honor and a privilege to be a part of this wonderful event. Standing here today, I feel immense gratitude and pride as we bring this memorable occasion to a close. On behalf of Interview Times, I, Parul Barik, would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you who has contributed directly or indirectly in making this success. Your presence and support and enthusiasm have completed this August gathering. I would like to extend our gratitude to esteemed speakers, keynote speakers. Your thoughts, ideas, and valuable perspectives have truly enriched this event and have left a lasting impact on all of us. As Mrityunjay sir mentioned, that CSR is not just about the corporate sector. It's not restricted to philanthropy. CSR includes collaboration and harmonization of several sectors for its success. Similarly, every single stakeholder was crucial to the success of this event. God bless us all. Thank you.